All right, welcome everybody to the review of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Basically, I'm just going to start out. I'm going to say this game was fantastic. I enjoyed every second of it. I basically am just on this screen to show you that I completed all of the achievements, that we fulfilled the 100%. I know a bunch of this was done when the game first came out, but we've achieved all 93 achievements. So that in itself is fantastic. Yeah, overall, I thought the game was incredible, fantastic, and I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Now, I love this game. It's basically tied for my favorite Assassin's Creed game with Black Flag, and the reason for that is the the world that this game is in, ancient Greece, is my favorite, and I also love the open world gameplay of it. I'm a huge fan of open world RPGs. Huge fan. And I think this game is the best open world RPG game of the Assassin's Creed series, but I think Black Flag is the best Assassin's Creed game of Assassin's Creed. I kind of have my favorite in both directions there. But yeah, so that's why those two are my top two. Basically, the reason I gave this one a 9 out of 10, the story. We'll start with the story. I have four basically different topics here. The story, the world, gameplay, and quality are the four topics that I normally do in a review. So the story, I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was well written. The issues we ran into was that there was some repetitiveness with some missions and, basically fetch quests that were just kind of like filler thrown in quite a bit. You knew if you were starting a quest, the story, it wouldn't streamline the story. It would just kind of like take you somewhere to do some like menial task at some points overall. But the story was fantastic. And then there was a couple of great twists and a bunch of moments that were just plain fun. You could tell that the writers and the developers had some just like, hey, what if we did this? And everybody was just like, that's amazing, and I want to do it. Yeah, story fantastic. A couple things here and there that, like, obviously you're never going to get a story that's 100% amazing, especially when you have filler missions in there. A lot of people don't like that. I don't mind it as much, but the amount that this game had might have been a little too much to me personally. The world of Assassin's Creed Odyssey is hands down arguably the best in Assassin's Creed. Although it is massive, it's huge, and that's a big turnoff for a lot of people. They don't have. I think this run took me 120 some hours to accomplish or to get through. A lot of people don't have that time, and they don't want to like sail and travel around the world to do all of that. And yeah, it is just incredibly gorgeous. This game is beautiful. They really did the Greek islands justice with the aesthetics. The colors popped, and everything just looked really good, and it made navigating through the world much easier, right? It flowed better because you'd go out onto a mountainside and you look out and you'd be like, wow, this is incredible. The only issue with the world is that while it was a big world, you need like filler locations, and a bunch of the question marks and stuff, a bunch of the locations that they kind of like spread out to keep you doing stuff was very cookie cutter, right? The like military outposts and stuff like that, it had the same exact layout every single time. They just copy and pasted it, dumped it into a different part of the world, and then moved on to the next location. I personally am not a huge fan of cookie cutter locations, although with a world this big, I understand that they couldn't take that much time to go through all of the locations. There's hundreds, if not like over 1,000 locations in the game. So some cookie cutter here and there was okay, but I thought it was a little too much for certain things. The gameplay, the combat is great. Me personally, I got kind of quote unquote stuck using the same type of combat, right? We went for a hunter build at the beginning, and I felt like I personally got into the groove of using a hunter build that I struggled to when we tried to transition to a warrior build. I really struggled with that transition. Although the game itself, I think that's a me problem and not a game problem. On the side, you can look over and you can just like change your loadout. And right, so we have like a warrior build on this loadout. So it makes it really easy because it's a gear dependent like loadout system. Whereas like you'll use warrior gear to kind of go for like a warrior build and stuff like that. So the game makes it really, really easy to transition between different types of builds and combat systems that you want to use. I personally just ran into the issue of not feeling comfortable enough in the warrior build than I was in the hunter build. So I transitioned back from, because I went hunter, I tried warrior, didn't like it, so I transitioned back to hunter when we tried to do that. I think that's just a me thing and not a game thing. I think the game actually does a great job of giving the player the option to just bounce back and forth really, really quickly. And so yeah, that's kind of how the series ran for this one, but that's not exactly, I think that's a me problem, not a game problem, if that makes sense. The quests and the storylines for in the gameplay were very memorable. There's a lot of moments in the game during quests and even a bunch of side quests and stuff that it was like, okay, this is fun. Like the story's fantastic. It's going to be memorable. And there's a lot of tough choices in a lot of the quests. There's a lot of choices where it's like, oh boy, do I do this or do I do this? And how is that going to affect the story and kind of like the run that I'm going for? The abilities are also fantastic, right? There's a whole bunch of abilities. You can use some fun ones for warrior build or a hunter build. I got stuck using the same ones because I'm a creature of habit. That's just kind of how I play games. We're gonna be working on that quite a bit more as I keep making content and stuff like that, just to make it more fun for the viewer. But there's a lot of abilities and a lot of them are really cool and they do a lot, and they especially pop when you get to the Fate of Atlantis DLC. The abilities that they give you there are very flashy and fun, and you knew that they had like a good time because they were delving into the mythology of ancient Greece, Greek mythology, and they really kind of dove into that with the abilities as well. And so that's where the abilities really shine, is when you get to that part and you're like, wow, this is sweet. The quality overall of Assassin's Creed Odyssey is just top notch. Honestly, if a lot of people would love this game, this game got a lot of flack when it first came out, and the main reason it did was because a lot of people in the Assassin's Creed community didn't really like the open world RPG, and I think that's why this game kind of took a hit down. But for a lot of people, this game is like peak open world RPG. It's a fantastic world. The quality is top notch. The cinematics are fantastic. They did a great job. The voice acting, was fantastic across the board, especially Cassandra. The voice actress popped off, and Cassandra is an incredible character. I prefer her over Alexios any day. My first playthrough, I tried to play as Alexios, and the voice acting just kind of threw me for a loop. I wasn't a huge fan of his voice acting, but Cassandra's was top notch, so I've played as her ever since. Overall, the game's just gorgeous, right? You look around, there's plenty of moments where you look out and you're just like, wow, like this is a video game? This is just beautiful, and it's incredible. One of the prettiest games, if not the prettiest game I think I've ever played in my life, to be honest with you. And the last thing is it worth the money? And I think it absolutely is. I think we ended at 120 hours or so to do everything in the game was plenty, right? Story not doing 100% is probably going to take you 60 to 80 hours at least, still, even from there. So I think it's well worth, we're going to use, dollars, but I think it's well worth the $60 it was when it came out, but now it's on sale all the time, right? The game's been out for 6 years. I think it came out 2018, technically. So it's been out for 6+ years, right? And it's still mind-blowingly good. So, and it's always on sale. It's never full price anymore unless you're looking in the wrong spots. Look around, get a good deal. I highly recommend it, and you should definitely play it if you enjoy it. If you enjoyed any part of the series at all, I think you'll really enjoy playing it. So that's going to be my review. Again, I gave it a 9 out of 10. Just a couple things here and there. It could be like a 9.5 out of 10, realistically. I don't know. I don't normally go into the decimal section when I do this, but it could definitely be 9.5. There's just a couple things here and there that like aren't perfect, but it's not going to like take away from the game too much. It could just disrupt some immersion here and there. Nothing too crazy. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching the series. I know it's an incredibly long series, and we lost some steam towards the end, but I know some of you watched the entire thing throughout the entire way, and you guys are crazy, and I love you, and I greatly appreciate the support. So I think that we're going to conclude Assassin's Creed Odyssey here, and who knows, we might revisit it way off in the future when I get the urge to play it again, like I do normally every 2 to 3 years. So thank you guys so much for watching. Greatly appreciate it. I hope you have a good rest of your day, night, whatever it is, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.